It was happening again, just like on Xais, the emptiness, the fear, the same monsters feeding and draining on the Jedi. Except this time it was different. Where there was once one, there was now a legion. Multiple monsters feeding on Avar, on Nooran, and on Keeve. A green saber cuts through the murky visions and Keif regains her consciousness. Sskeer urges Keif to move. Sskeer had managed to scare them off, but the monsters will be back. Avar tells Keif that they need to get to the hub to see if they can stop the starlight from drifting into the planet's atmosphere. But while the Force had spared Avar and Keif, not all of them were so lucky. Sskeer tells Keif to go on, he will hold them back. But Keif is hesitant to leave her master behind. But Sskeer explains that this is it, the reason why he was blessed with his condition, why the Force has led him here. His lack of connection to the Force makes him impervious to the monster's attacks. Sskeer then promises that this will not be the end. They will see each other again. With tears streaming down her face, Keif heads off with Avar. As the two depart, Sskeer turns to face the unspeakable horrors, with absolute determination. Back on the Ataraxia, Jedi Master Gunral Monchi tells Orbalin to retract the boarding tube and depart as all citizens are now on board. But as the Jedi reassures the civilians, from the holding cells dozens of Nile burst forwards. Gunral tells Orbalin that he needs reinforcements, but as Orbalin works on the controls, a laser strikes the Archivist in the head. Lorna D stands over the fallen Jedi, smoking blaster in hand. As Lorna takes control of the ship, she watches with some admiration at Marchion's plan. Perhaps he has surpassed his father after all. Still on the comms, Gunral attempts to establish communication with the Archivist once again, but is met with silence. Eventually he too is overwhelmed by the Nile. And with that, Lorna blasts off with the Ataraxia, leaving the falling station behind. Keif and Avar make their way through the station, and as they approach the hub, Keif wonders how the whole place is keeping together, and they soon find their answer. Walking into the hub, the two find Estella Maru suspended in the air, using every inch of his connection with the Force to keep the station together. He tells them that they must immediately head to an escape pod. Estella asks if everyone has been evacuated, to which Keif responds that Tarek and Seret are still in the healing chamber. Keif heads off to rescue them while Avar proceeds to help Estella in holding everything together. As Keif finds the twins, a hole breaks in the walls of the station, sucking everything out into space. Keif hangs on for dear life, but as her strength fades, she loses her grip. But just as she is about to be sucked into the void of space, she finds herself suspended in the air. She opens her eyes and finds the twins reaching out with the Force, saving her. Outside, the starlight beacon breaks into half. Avar tells Estella to make for the escape pod while she holds everything together. Estella remarks that she was always their shining light, a light that must be protected at all cost. Estella orders KC to knock the Marshal into a nearby escape pod, and before Avar could recover, the droid shuts the door. Avar watches helplessly as Estella sacrifices himself to save her. The escape pod ejects into space, and behind it, the station bursts into a massive explosion. As the escape pod lands, Avar watches from below as the starlight rains down on the surface. Keif and the twins reunite with the Marshal, and Avar collapses in her arms. Keif looks on, now more determined than ever. She must be strong for those who trusted them, for those who they promised to protect, for light and life. That was what happened in issue 15 of the High Republic. That was a super heavy issue for me, and there's definitely a lot of consequences that Keif and the other Jedi will have to deal with. It's not really certain as to whether or not Sskeer is dead, nor the Archivist, but I'm somewhat doubtful that Sskeer is dead, as it would be a rather unceremonious way to go. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. I am the Lost Acolyte,
and I have spoken.